Don't raise their hand. Should I start talking? Hi guys, I'm Lisa from Kitchen Chemistry. We're going to be making some really fun, simple and easy pumpkin whoopie pies today. Everybody complains to me that they have no time to bake. So here's a recipe that's going to be really easy and fast. And I know your family's going to love it. Okay? One person, really. Okay, we're getting ready. I'm just stirring some things up, so once we get started, it's going to go real quick and easy for you. I want to welcome you guys for coming and joining us here on our very first live video. So pardon me if I'm messing up a little bit. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm Lisa from Kitchen Chemistry and Bake Shop in Stroudsburg, and I've been baking since I'm a kid. So I have learned very simple and easy things that's going to make life easy for you for the holidays. Many times people tell me they have no time to bake, so I come up with really easy recipes that you're going to have success with. So, I just want to know, I wonder if anybody knows how to pack brown sugar. There's a difference when you're measuring out ingredients. Regular white sugar, you just use a measuring scoop and you pour it in the bowl. But brown sugar, you have to kind of pack because it's got molasses in it. So therefore, it's kind of like playing with wet clay. So to get the right measurement, you have to pack it into your cup. Okay? So I'm just going to stick it in there like this. We're going to get all our ingredients ready because that's a big, big hint when you're baking. Don't be flying around your kitchen grabbing this and grabbing that and then finding out you have no vanilla and whatnot. You got to check out in advance that you have everything you need, and then you can go from there. So is anyone going to give me a shout out to say hi? We have some bakers out there? Okay. I am going to say welcome to those who are here. And my, can't read the writing, so I'll see what, my daughter will come help me for a few minutes to sing. So what we're going to be doing again is we're making pumpkin whoopie pies. Whoopie pies are really fun. They're kind of like just a little bit thicker than cake, but not as hard and crispy as a cookie. So they're fun and easy, and you can fill it with just about anything. Today we're going to be filling it with a cream cheese pumpkin pie filling. It's going to be outrageous. Alright? So pumpkin, there's a difference between pumpkin pie filling and pumpkin puree. We're using straight up pumpkin puree today. It will say pumpkin pie filling on your can. This just says plain pumpkin. If it said pie filling, then that means you could most likely skip your seasoning, because that means it has the cinnamon in there already and the ginger and stuff like that. Okay? But today we're starting from scratch, so this way it's going to be easier. It's easier to get canned pumpkin than it is to get pumpkin pie filling. Alright? I talked about the brown sugar already. We want to use brown sugar, and you have to pack it into the cup. You don't want to just lightly measure it like we tell you to do with flour, because it's going to be the wrong measurement. You have to get it nice and tight in there. So the first thing we're going to be doing, alright, is we're going to be mixing our sugar with our oils. So I have 1 cup of brown sugar, like a big blob. Like I said before, it's just like wet sand. So it can be fun. You can shape it in little silicone pans or whatever. Make it fun for the kids if they're going to help you bake. And it tastes good too. So cleanup's always a breeze. And then we're going to mix a 1/2 cup of oil with that. And we are going to let you have this recipe. This is a recipe I use right here in my bakery. So it's a good one that really is successful for you. Okay, I'm just going to toss this around. You can just see. You want to evenly disperse the oil into the brown sugar. You can definitely throw this in your KitchenAid or in your hand mixer if you'd like, but at this stage you don't really have to. Alright? Kind of makes a crunchy noise in there, mixing it around. Alright. Now brown sugar makes anything you bake with it kind of like a little on the softer side, and that's why it's perfect for whoopie pies. Because a whoopie pie, you want to bite into it and you want it to be fluffy and feel like you got this big old thing, but it's not going to be as many calories. In most cases, it is a little bit lighter than a cookie, that's for sure. But you know, so that's the reason why we add brown sugar instead of white sugar. White sugar, like in cookies, tends to make it a little more crunchier. All right. So here, I measured out 3/4 of a cup of pumpkin and 1 egg. Kind of like a chemical reaction happens and the pumpkin gets really thick, and that's perfectly fine. I also threw in a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Vanilla is the go-to flavoring. It's the #1 flavor in the world. So you add a little dimension to your food without and everyone likes it. That doesn't mean, if you're a little creative, that you can't use lemon extract or orange extract or coconut, whatever you would like to use if you want to add a little twist. Okay? If you're not sure if it's going to work, then what I would do is hold off the flavoring, mix the whole batter, take like a spoonful and just put a drop of the extract in there. Stir it up and then taste the batter there. And then if you like it, hey, you might create a new hot dessert, a new trend. Alright, so I'm adding this pumpkin in here. And as I said before, really I can't stress how much easier life is if you measure everything out before you start. Especially if you're baking with kids. Because kids don't have patience for all that measuring and having to put a little bit back and whatnot. So you want to have it all measured out and then let the kids come and throw it in the bowl, and they are going to think, oh my God, I baked this thing with my mom, and they'll be bragging to their teachers at school, I can guarantee it. Does anybody have any questions out there? Any questions? No questions yet. All right, well, let me know if you have a question. I'll be happy to answer it. All right, so we have our pumpkin and our brown sugar and our oil in here. Stir it up. I don't even need a mixer. If you notice, I don't even need a mixer at this point. It's a very easy recipe. Almost no fail. Okay. So now we have a little flour, 1½ cups of flour, and our leavening. This is really important for any kind of baked product, because you want the whoopie pies to puff up and be nice and round. So we're using equal parts, a half a teaspoon each of salt, baking soda, and baking powder. So what's the difference between baking soda and baking powder? Baking powder is baking soda with a little bit of I forgot it. I'm over 50, so I forget these things. Tartar, cream of tartar. That's what's in there to make it kind of like double act. Baking soda is going to be in things that have to rise really quick and fast, and baking powder has things that it rises and then it rises again, kind of thing. So that's the difference between those two. Equal parts baking soda, baking powder, and salt, 1/2 teaspoon each.
Christine wants to know, can I use fresh pumpkin puree?
Absolutely. You can use fresh pumpkin puree in this recipe. How you use fresh pumpkin puree is you take your pumpkin from Halloween, as long as you didn't carve it a week ago, okay? If you carved it in a day or so, it can still work, but not if you carved it a long time ago. Cut the pumpkin in half, clean out all those seeds. That's another video in a little while for that one. And then you take that pumpkin, I rinse it with water, put it on a cookie sheet, and bake it in the oven until it comes out like a potato. You stick this fork in it, it has to go in nice and smoothly, and then it's ready. It's going to take probably about 40 minutes or so to bake that pumpkin through. I can't give you an exact time because it depends on the size of your pumpkin. And then turn the pumpkin over, scoop out the insides, and that's what you can use. And it is going to be outrageous, let me tell you. Okay? So, I have flour and my leavening in here. And then all I'm going to do is add my pumpkin spice. They sell it in the store already mixed, and it's cinnamon, cloves, and ginger. All right? But for today, I'm going to, we make our own here. We just make it. It's usually 2 parts cinnamon to 1 part of the cinnamon, of the ginger and clove. So we're going to mix 3/4 of a tablespoon, 1.5 tablespoons of the spice. So that's 1.5. So I have my sugar and oil. I have my 3/4 cup of pumpkin, my egg, and my vanilla in here. So now I'm going to take my dry ingredients, plop it in there. Okay? And then stir it up. If you have a mixer, absolutely you can do it here. Mix it now. One of the things that happens with inexperienced bakers is they tend to overbeat things. So if you overbeat cake batter, what will happen is you'll get lots of air bubbles in your cake batter, and sometimes if you really overmix it, it's not going to rise because you broke all the bubbles that the baking powder and baking soda caused to rise. So don't go too crazy. Mix your ingredients until it's thoroughly mixed, and then that's enough. So you see what this looks like? It's a little dense. It's not light and fluffy like cake batter, but it's definitely thicker than cookie batter. Just like that. Alright? And now you're going to choose. Do you want to make cute little bite-sized whoopie pies? They are great if you go into a dinner somewhere and you want to bring dessert. People like to have one little individual dessert. Very trendy right now to have bite-sized desserts. So you can make bite-sized whoopie pies. If you're going to do that, you're going to use about 1.5 teaspoons. It's kind of hard to decide on that, so I'll show you. Take a spoon, a teaspoon, all right, and just scoop off just like this, just like a mounding teaspoonful, and then drop it on your cookie sheet. You kind of want to try to keep uniform size, so whatever you do it the same for all of them. Okay? Because once they bake, they're going to rise a lot, but they're going to still kind of like keep the shape. So in other words, if you make a schmear like this, and it's all crooked, if you can see there what I did here, that's what it's going to look like when it comes out. So you can try to make a matching pair there. Otherwise, you're going to just have to eat that one. Alright? So these are going to make little bite-sized whoopie pies that come out kind of like this size. Alright, so the size of, say, an Oreo cookie. Now, my family, they all want everything jumbo. So I'm using a 1/4 cup measure. I like to use these little ice cream scoops, but if you don't have one, it doesn't make sense to go run out and get it unless your family just goes crazy over these. You're going to be making them for every holiday. Then you're going to need one of these. So this is a 1/4 cup, and I'm going to squirt these on here. I'm using parchment, so I don't really need to grease my pan, but if you are using a plain up cookie sheet, then you want to spray it with some kitchen spray, Pam or whatever, and that's going to help you remove them. Okay, so you fill up the whole tray. You see how I have these spaced out? That's how you want them. You don't want to put them really close, because otherwise they're just going to bake together and you're going to have a big sheet cake. Then you can turn it into a pumpkin roll. That's another class too. So anyway, I'm going to pop those in the oven. They bake very, very easily. 350 for about 10 to 12 minutes. That's it. It's going to be done. Okay? And then I'm going to pull them out of my pretend oven over here. And this is what they look like. They're soft. They're baked nice on the bottom, but they are so soft. Oh my gosh, it's like a pillow. You're going to want to eat them. Very, very good. Now you got to fill them. And there's so many different things that you can fill them with. Okay? Classically, it's filled with a buttercream. Believe it or not, the real whoopie pie filling usually is made with shortening. So it's kind of like the filling that you get in like one of those, you know, Hostess cakes or whatever. It's shortening. Some people fill it with marshmallow. That's a good one too. We're going to fill it with like a cream cheese batter. It's really, really good. Okay? Does anybody have any questions at this point? Or do you have any suggestions? Or you want to tell us what you fill your whoopie pies with? Anything good? Okay. So when we're working with our cream cheese filling, and the fillings that I'm doing now, you could also do in a pumpkin roll. So if you accidentally bake all your whoopie pies and they all blend together, you open your oven, what you can do is real quickly put a piece of parchment over it, roll it up in a towel, let it cool that way, and then you can unroll it and fill it with this filling, and then you'll have a pumpkin roll. But whoopie pies are a lot easier to work with. So if I confuse you, give me a call at the shop and I'll be happy to tell you. Very easy ingredients. Cream cheese, sugar, a little heavy cream, good old pumpkin, pumpkin spice, oops, I'm sorry, pumpkin, some more pumpkin spice, and some vanilla. Alright, so it helps if you're going to need a mixer for this, I think. It makes life a lot easier. What I do is I stick the cream cheese on a microwave-safe plate for about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, just enough to make it softer so that the other ingredients can get incorporated in it real quickly. We're going to add, so we're starting off with 8 ounces of cream cheese. I'm going to do a 1/4 cup of pumpkin puree. So let's see, here we go. Throw that in there. I'm going to do a teaspoon of our...
Christian wants to know, can you make these in apple version?
The apple whoopie pie, and then with a different filling. I'm sure you can, but there's going to be a different recipe. It's going to be a different... So, okay, the question is, can you change this to an apple recipe? And yes, you can, but because apples are so much moister, the chances are I'm going to have to adjust the flour a little bit. I haven't done it that way. I would say that you can use apple sauce for the pumpkin, but again, there's more water in applesauce than there is in pumpkin, so there definitely has to be a different ratio with flour. Otherwise, they're going to just spread out, and that's not going to be too good. Okay, but yes, apple whoopie pies with a caramel sauce and a scoop of ice cream. That's a good one. Okay, so there I go, a teaspoon of pumpkin seasoning, a 1/4 cup of sugar. Since I'm not baking this...
Are you using whole fat cream cheese?
I am. I hate to say it, I'm using whole fat cream cheese. The low fat cream cheese is again has more liquid in it, so your filling is not going to be as firm. So then you have to kind of up the sugar, which kind of like counteracts the cutting of the fat in the cream cheese. I never use fat-free, because what they use in fat-free, unless it's a dietary need that you absolutely have to have that, they fill it up with cellulose and plastic and all kinds of weird stuff to make you feel like you're eating the volume, but it's not going to have, absolutely not going to have the same good quality. If you're watching your calories, have a smaller slice. If having all those whoopie pies in front of you in one shot, then freeze them all and just take out one every day or something like that. I think that that's a lot better, having a smaller piece of real food than using the synthetic stuff. But that's just me. Okay, so I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of sugar. What makes life a little bit easier when you're adding sugar to whipped cream or to cream cheese is to get the super fine, quick dissolved sugar. And what this is plain old table sugar that's pulverized to a finer consistency. So it melts a lot quicker because we're not baking it, so there's going to be no heat applied. So sometimes it could be a little grainy if you use regular sugar. But it's not the end of the world if you just want to use regular table sugar. So where are my measuring cups? Here you go. Alright, so this is going to be a 1/4 cup of sugar. Alright. And cream cheese, pumpkin puree, pumpkin spice, sugar, and then vanilla. Teaspoon of vanilla. I make my own vanilla. This is not my own vanilla. but in the shop we use, I get a pound of vanilla beans and a bottle and a half, like a liter and a half of vodka, and I pump them in a big glass jar and I let it soak for about a month, and you get the richest, darkest flavored vanilla that you're just not going to get anywhere else. And then we take the seeds out, the vanilla bean seeds, and that's where we get all our vanilla, bourbon vanilla bean frosting and whatnot. It is really good and hard to duplicate because you're making it yourself. And then last but not least, we're going to add a quarter of a cup of heavy cream. And heavy cream and the cream cheese together kinda, again, has like a little bit of a chemical reaction, and it makes like a cheesecakey taste. I don't know why it does that. I only know it does. Alright, so here I go. I'm going to mix this up. It's going to get a little loud in here for a minute or two, so think of some questions and I'll answer them when I shut it off. So when you're first mixing it, at this stage, it kind of looks, oh my god, it looks curdly. You're going to say, I messed up somehow. See how really gross and curdly that looks? Don't worry, it's going to all come together, but you have to have patience, okay? Gotta learn how to work my KitchenAid. There we go. There we go, okay. Having fun? Something you think you'll do? I hope so. It's really easy, you're going to see. You can impress your whole family because whoopie pie, it's not a cupcake, it's not a cookie, it's kind of like in between, and it's going to be really impressive. Ah, smells like Thanksgiving. Okay. Alright. So now what happened is the cream cheese, the whipped cream kind of whipped, and look at how yummy that looks. It looks like ice cream. Ooh, soft serve ice cream. You could always do that too. You could just take a plain old scoop of ice cream and stick it between two whoopie pies. Make your own homemade ice cream sandwiches. Really good. So what I do then is I'm going to squirt. I kind of squeeze this all into a pastry bag because for me, it's easier. I'm used to doing this, but you can use a freezer bag. You can use a scoop. You could use a plain old knife. It doesn't really matter. These pastry bags are great. I used to, when my youngest son was in school, he used to get a big kick out of bringing one of these to school. I'd put peanut butter in it and then seal it up with a rubber band, and he would get to bring a banana and peanut butter to school, and he looked all cool because he was the only one doing something like that. So it's kind of fun. So you let these cool. You don't want to put your filling in hot whoopie pies. It is not a pretty sight. Alright? So here we go. I'm going to hold it in my hand. Remember, this is soft like a pillow. So be careful with it. And then basically just put a nice little layer, generous layer, because everybody likes cheesecake and that's what it's going to taste like. So you see, it's like a ½ inch in there. And then I'm just going to plop that on. How do you like that? Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Do another one. Okay. And I'll do a couple little bite size. Any questions, guys? So I virtually did everything right here in front of you except the 10-minute baking time because I didn't want to bore you with that. So literally in a ½ an hour, if you measure everything out in advance, you can have all these whoopie pies made for your family. Okay? So squeeze it on. When will we have this recipe up on Facebook?
No.
It's now.
No, in a few minutes.
In a few minutes, we're going to post the recipe for you. So run out and get your pumpkin, or make your pumpkin with that jack-o'-lantern you never got to carve. Alright, and here we go. And these are so outrageous. Now, you want to let them set for a little while, because otherwise they're going to smush everywhere. Okay, so I am going to just break it in half. Ooh, look at that. Oh my god, oh my god. I'm going to take a little bite. Oh. I am never going to be skinny, I can tell you right now. Good Lord. Alright. Little powdered sugar. And you have these great desserts to bring to Thanksgiving this year. Alright? I want to thank you for joining us. It was really a lot of fun. My favorite part of owning kitchen chemistry is sharing what I know with everybody out there. So thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.